This Corecon training video explores 3 primary ways to record an estimate cost line item in an existing estimate. To get started, we're working in the Leads module, and from the Lead Information page, we're going to select an estimate that's already been set up in a previous video. Then we're going to go to Estimates and RFPs, and the estimate that we're working on is the second. I'm going to open up the detail until we get to the Estimate Property Detailed page. Note that I've already selected a default or auto-populate estimate cost code list, which is my CSI 2016. The code level is set to lowest, and I've also enabled locations. I'm going to click View Estimate. The first primary method of adding new cost line items to an estimate is from the Estimate Cost Codes tab. I've already added quite a few cost codes to the list, but we're going to add a new one. To do that, we're going to go to Add Import, and let's import a new estimate cost code from the master cost code list. We'll select Demolition and click Import. Since I've added that after the fact, it's fallen to the bottom of the list. If I want to resort this list, I'm going to select All, click Global Changes, select Reset Order Number, and click Apply Changes. Now it's moved up into the same order as the cost codes. To add the first item manually, we'll just go across to the plus sign to the far right, which is the icon that represents an add record or add transaction, and we're going to add manually. We're going to add a description, and a quantity, a unit of measure, and an estimated cost rate. The default cost code has already been added for me, and click Add and Close. Now when we go to the Items tab, down to Demolition, we have a new division and major from the master cost code. We have a new estimate cost code, and we've added the first item under that cost code. We can also add manually from the Items tab. We'll click the Add icon and add manually. We're going to add a rental for a trash chute, and we're running that by the week. And the estimated cost rate. The cost code's already been added. We've added 2 items from 2 different locations, and we've used the manual method. The next method is to import an item from a cost database. To use this method, you will have to have cost database items set up. We're going to specifically use work items in this case, and each item would need to be classified by your master cost code list. So to do that, we're in the Items tab. We're going to go up to Add Import Items, and we're going to add from cost database. I'm going to use the auto populate. That's the important part. Auto populate cost codes. Although if your cost database does not have classifications or default classifications, you can also use existing cost code and then select one. But my cost database items all have classifications which tie to my master cost code list. So I'm going to use auto populate. I'm going to pull from my local cost database. I'm using the work items, and there's my master cost code list that we tagged in the estimate information detail page. I'm going to click on the Select Filter Codes. You can select one or more, and since the existing estimate doesn't have any items from Division 22 Plumbing, I'm just going to open that up, and we're going to add electric domestic water heaters. I'm simply selecting the default classification. I'm going to click Select, and then I'm going to go to the Get Items, and all the items in my cost database that use that cost code as a default classification will show up. We'll select the item and a quantity and click Add and Close. If we go down to the list again, we can see that the division and major cost code were dynamically added, as well as the estimate cost code, and the estimate item was added. Notice that the quantity and unit of measure came over, but that particular cost database item had no cost in it. One way you can edit or add cost budgets to an estimate item is to go to this view option, go to cost rates and click edit. Now I can edit very simply from one screen. We're going to say there's 4 of those. It's also going to use labor to install and click save. Corecon dynamically added this estimate item and we added the cost after the fact. If the cost database item already had cost in the cost database, it would have brought that cost in the same time it brought in the item. The third way to add a new estimate cost line item is from the add import items, and we're going to import an item from another estimate. Switch the option to import cost code from source estimate. We're going to skip locations, that's covered in a different video. We're going to select a lead and estimate not related to the estimate we're working on at the moment. And we can add from the cost code list that's in that estimate. There's 2 items. We're going to just import the second and click add and close. And scroll down to that item. We'll need to adjust the quantity. We'll click edit, enter a new quantity, save and close. We can also access or view that item by going to the filter. We'll select from the division cost codes and the item appears here. We've adjusted the quantity, used the same unit of measure, and for the time being, we'll leave the cost rate the same as it was in the other estimate. If you'd like to know more about this subject, we encourage you to go to the help articles, to leads and projects, to estimates, and under the heading Add Estimate Cost Line Items, you'll see the 3 methods we used in this training video.